Hi guys, I'm the Movie Guy, and today I'm reviewing Star Wars Rebels Season 3, Episode 7, I'm calling it 7, might be 6 in your book, I'm calling it 7, Imperial Supercommandos. Now, before I start my review, I have to say that last time I reviewed an episode of Rebels, I claimed that there would be one next week, which was last week, and there wasn't one, because for some reason there was a 2-week break. And we'll have another 2-week break after this, so this is the only episode I'm getting in 4 weeks. That's hard for me because I love this show. I want more of these episodes. I want one every week. I want one daily. I want one hourly. I'm not getting that, but like one every 2 weeks. Oh, that sucks. Anyway, my bad that I was wrong about that. I'll admit that. I didn't look up the exact schedule of when they were coming out. So, that's my bad. Now, if this is your first time watching any of my Star Wars Rebels reviews, I will say that I review every episode of Star Wars Rebels Season 3. I also did reviews for Season 1 as a whole and Season 2 as a whole. All of those reviews are up on my channel. And I do suggest watching them because I found out that some people have not watched those and therefore left stupid comments. And that pisses me off a little bit. And therefore I have to explain myself a little bit. If you don't want that explanation, if you just want my review, click right here to skip ahead to where I actually start talking about this episode. Because I do have to explain something about myself. And that is how I work with my reviews. I had a comment on my last video saying that I don't like Ahsoka, Rex, and a lot of Clone Wars stuff because I didn't want Clone Wars things in Rebels. No, you misunderstood me. What I meant was I didn't like the last episode, what they did with the Clone Wars stuff that we had in that episode. I didn't like the battle droids. I didn't like the fact that it felt like a bad episode of Clone Wars. Better animated, of course, but just like what we are seeing, it felt like filler. It didn't feel like there's something in that episode that is going to tie into the rest of the episodes. I thought that episode was mainly done for the people who wanted a little bit of Clone Wars. And that I didn't really like because I'm okay with how Clone Wars ended. Actually, if you want more of Clone Wars, there are some unfinished episodes. I believe there are 8. All are up on YouTube or StarWars.com. You can just see those episodes. Also, there is a book, Dark Disciple, where they had scripts of 8 episodes into one book. So at least you have that in a book form. And then you also have 4 episodes made into the Son of Dathomir comic. So basically they did make every episode of Season 7 of Clone Wars into something. It's out there, you can see or read about it. So for me, I didn't need the Clone Wars things in that episode. And I do understand why other people do like it. I'm a part of a Star Wars related group on Facebook where we talk about the latest episode of Rebels every time there's one. And I did see a lot of people liking the episode. I also saw a lot of people really disliking the episode, like myself. It appeared that the last episode was really split. Like, people hated it or people loved it, depending on your view of Clone Wars and what you were expecting of the episode. So, like, for me, it just didn't work. That is how I feel about it. I'm not going to change my opinion about that. It's like, I didn't like the episode. If you like it, though, that's fine. But there was some nutcase in my comment section saying that you suck, fuck you, I hate your review because you hate droids and I love droids and you have to love droids as well. And I'm like, no, I don't have to love droids. It's like, it's something that I don't like. If you like it, that's fine. But there was some nutcase with like 10 comments just cursing at me and saying like, fuck you. And look, normally I wouldn't let any of the comments really get to me. I don't really like to go into a reaction to the comments. It's like, I don't want to get stuck up with that, but like I needed to explain myself a little bit. I explain everything I think about Rebels in my Rebels reviews. So if you watch every of my Rebels reviews up until now, you will know how I feel about most of the things. If I left something out in a certain review, I may have gotten to it in an earlier review because I don't really want to repeat things. For people who are watching every of my reviews, first of all, thank you. That's great. Second of all, you will already know my opinion about something, so if I say it again, it's like, yeah, we know you think about that. Just get on with what your new thoughts are. And that is what I try to do with my reviews. Just give new thoughts, things that people haven't heard before. And therefore I'm like, before you comment on any of my videos, make sure that you have done your research. And if you haven't done your research and you don't want to do that, then just shut the fuck up. Because I don't want a nutcase in my comment section saying, fuck you, I hate you, you suck because you have a different opinion. Welcome to the world of opinions. Everyone has one. Everyone has a different one than you. So get over that. Please, it's how everything in movies works. Anyway, that being said, let's get on with my actual review. So as I do every week is like, I start with a brief synopsis, then I say what I did like about the episode, then I say what I didn't like about the episode, then I do predictions for next week, and then I finish up. So the synopsis of this episode is something that I kind of predicted last time, is we see Ezra and Sabine go on a mission together with Fen Rao in this case, and this is something that ties into an episode of last season, The Protectors from Concord Dawn, that episode when Sabine and Canon met Rao and they actually came to an agreement that Rao allows the Ghost Crew through their system. However, in this episode, what's the case? Some of the people on the planet where Fen Rao is at have decided, no, fuck you, I'm going to side with the Empire and I'm going to not allow the rebels. So there's a little bit of a conflict between them and shit goes down. Now let's start off with the good things. I did like this episode quite a lot better than the last episode. So I definitely have a lot more positive points than negative points. Now this episode is mainly a Sabine episode. I was ready for that because, you know, it's Mandalorians. Sabine is a Mandalorian, Sabine is in this heavily, and I was ready for that, and I actually like that, because I'm not that big a fan of Sabine. If I would rank the Rebels characters from best to worst, for me it's like Hera, Ezra, Kanan, Sabine, Zeb, and Chopper, and I do like all 6 of them, but like Chopper is hardly developed in any way. It's like, yeah, some things happen to him. We have a little bit of explanation. Zeb, same thing. Like, we don't have a lot of explanation to his character, and that's fine. But it makes him more of a jokey sidekick instead of an actual character. And then with Sabine, it starts becoming somewhat of a character, but we haven't had a lot of character development for her. So what I did like is that this episode once again gives us a little bit more of who Sabine was. We already knew that she was a part of Clan Vizsla, which is a clan of Clone Wars. I recently rewatched Clone Wars, so I have that fresh in my mind, and hearing that she was a part of Clan Vizsla made me, oh yeah, I know that from Clone Wars, so that was really cool, a nice callback. And if you've seen Clone Wars, you know that clan and what kind of person she is, at least what kind of person her parents are. Then there was a little bit of a throwaway line, but for me it wasn't really throwaway, because there was something. They said something about her mother. Who is her mother? We don't know yet, right? My guess is that it's Bo-Katan. That's something that I've thought about quite a lot ever since someone brought it up in the Star Wars Facebook group a few weeks ago when we had the preview for this episode. People were saying, hey, I think we're going to see her mother, and her mother's probably going to be Bo-Katan. If you don't know who she is, look it up on Wikipedia. It explains her character. She was in the Clone Wars, and I'm not going to go into that right now, but like, it would be cool to have that connection. What I also liked is that they teamed up Ezra and Sabine, because Ezra and Sabine, just the 2 of them, and yes, you have Chopper there with them, but like, Chopper is always just there. It's not that big of a deal, but it's more that this episode was about Ezra and Sabine and a little bit about their relation, which I don't really know what is going on, but I'm rooting for them to be together, you know. It's like, I would like them to be together as a couple, but I don't really know anything about that now. There wasn't a whole lot in this episode that really hinted to them being a couple. I mean, the only thing we've really seen, and it's at the beginning of season 1, Ezra is flirting with Sabine. That's really all we got. There was one moment though, and maybe I'm reading into this a little bit too much, but that's really what I do, so let's do that. The moment where Sabine grabs Ezra and they take off with her jetpack. Ezra says, "Whoa." Now, that can be either a whoa, like, whoa, what's happening? This is exciting, cool, what, huh? Or it can be a, whoa, she's holding me. That's, wow. Woo! No, that kind of thing. So, maybe I'm reading into this too much, but I am rooting for those two to kind of be a couple together somewhere down the line, because I have a whole crazy theory about what is going to happen with the entire Ghost Crew at the end of this season. Maybe not this season, but the end of Rebels. I'm not going to go into that theory because you'd think I'm crazy, but for that theory to work, I need Ezra and Sabine to have kind of that connection together, kind of be a couple, so we'll see, we'll see. And I was thinking about this during the episode, that do I like it at the end of the episode that Fen Rao basically is the ex machina, that he comes in and saves the day, because that can be seen as a deus ex machina, or you can look at it as character development for Fen Rao, because throughout the episode you see him interact with Sabine, and at the end of the episode he says to Sabine, like, you've earned my respect. So basically it's just him figuring out that he has respect for Sabine, and he actually is a little done with the Mandalorians, because the Mandalorians on his planet basically betrayed him, and Sabine is good for him, so why would he stick with the Mandalorians? So I thought, like, no, it's not an ex machina, it makes sense that he comes back to save them. So that was something that I did like. And something I was really looking forward to in this episode, because I saw a clip at Celebration. The clip showed a little bit of the chase when the Mandalorians are after Sabine and Ezra is holding on to Sabine and with his lightsaber blocking the shots. I saw a little bit of that at Celebration, and I was like, oh, that's probably going to be a cool action scene. And yes, it was. I really liked that action scene in the episode. Cool action in this episode, so that was really nice. So, not every episode can be amazing. I mean, I liked the episode quite a lot, but it wasn't perfect. It wasn't like some of the better episodes of the season, and that's not to say that this is a bad episode. No, not in any way. It's just that this season has been really good, and this is actually just below the quality of the other episodes that we've gotten. So one thing that I found really weird, at the beginning, Ezra just forgets to watch Fen Rao, and then Sabine is like, Ezra, what are you doing? And then Fen overpowers them, of course, and then you have the Star Wars Rebels logo. And the next time you see them, nothing happened with that. Fen Rao did nothing with his advantage at that point, and it's like, what? So first, you're going to tell me that Ezra did something really stupid, which I found weird, because I don't think Ezra would be that stupid. But then you're going to tell me that nothing came off it and everything is just okay. I mean, that's really Disney-like. It's like, some things have consequences. Yeah, sometimes I can really see this as a Disney show. And what I just don't really like about this episode is the runtime. Something that I noticed when I rewatched Clone Wars is Clone Wars has a lot of 3-4 episode arcs that you actually end an episode and that it has an open ending and that the next episode continues with that. These are all one-off episodes in Rebels, and they eventually tie into each other, but you can also see them separately. And I'm like, but what I had in Clone Wars was sometimes really good, with 3 episodes tying into each other, that I'm like, oh, I really love this, that it is something really big. And in this case, it's like, they start off, they get into trouble, they figure it out, and in the end everyone is fine again. And I'm like, can we just get into 3 episode arcs that you can really dive into? And some of those arcs in Clone Wars make for the best moments in Star Wars. So I'm like, can you give me that? Because, as I said before, like, some of the best episodes in Star Wars Rebels are the longer ones, like Twilight of the Apprentice, the Season Lethal, or the beginning of this season when we had the two-parter. When they are longer, you can do more and I can really get into an episode. So if you have a short 22-minute, it's like, give me more. Yes, I have a complaint with the runtime. I know, I should not have it, but I just do. I love this show too much. And something I kind of was looking forward to, you have that shot in the trailer that Sabine is holding Darksaber. And this was Sabine with Mandalorians, and Vizsla clan is mentioned, and I'm like, where is the Darksaber? No Darksaber. No Darksaber. I was a little disappointed. I know this is nitpicky stuff, but I really wanted to see the Darksaber this episode. Anyway, that's really all I can say about this week's episode. Now let's see what we've got next week. Next week we've got nothing. Oh wait, yeah, 2-week gap. That sucks. Then in 2 weeks' time, we have an episode called Iron Squadron, and I've seen a small description of it. It's probably going to be about a squadron of fighters, whether that's Rebellion, Empire, or Unsighted, a different side than Rebellion or Empire, I don't know. But it will be just cool to see a squadron of fighters, maybe in a space battle. I like space battles, so that would be cool, I'd say. But other than that, I don't really know. What I do know is that in 2 weeks' time, a certain book has come out. And this is not just some book. This is called Catalyst, a Rogue One novel, which is a direct prequel to Rogue One, which means from then on we will have more tie-ins to what we know about Rogue One. For right now, we don't really know a whole lot about the movie itself, just from some descriptions, but like we really have to wait until the book comes out to know more things about Rogue One. And at this point we are getting close to Rogue One. It releases in 1 month, and it wouldn't be too weird for me if Star Wars Rebels is going to have tie-ins to Rogue One, because you know the events of Star Wars Rebels right now are 2 years away from Rogue One. And some characters of Rogue One, I'm not saying that you have to have Jyn Erso or Krennic, but just give us one character, one obscure character that we know is going to be in Rogue One. If you have that tie into Rebels in a way that I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, it's not forced or anything, that would be so cool. So yeah, I am really looking forward to some Rogue One stuff in Rebels. That's basically all I can say. Anyway, now that I've given all my thoughts on this episode, I wonder, what do you think of it? Please, whatever you think, let me know in the comments below. I do apologize for this review being so long, but I just had to explain myself to some people who don't understand opinions and are some fucking cuntbags. I just had to. I'm sorry for the people who are nice to me. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. I always love it to see people comment and be positive about me. I just hate the fact that some cuntbags who don't understand things have to comment like fucking cuntbags. But you know, that's going to happen sometime. And as always, may the Force be with you. And if you've liked this review and you want to see more of my movie, trailer, and Star Wars reviews, click right here.